Hello there, this is Sammy33, and we are slowly chugging away through this baseball season. We are done with the month of June. The draft is coming up, the All-Star break is coming up, and every team is past the halfway point of the season. So we're going to do a look around the league before we get into action in July. It should be a really exciting month. But first, let's look at the standings. Starting in the American League, the Rays have a 1.5 game lead over the Orioles, both teams with plus 50 in the win column. Blue Jays winning record is well, 8.5 back, 5 games over 500. The Yankees, they've been kind of hovering around 500 for most of the season. Maybe they turn it on in the second half. We'll see. They're 2 games over. They're 10 back. The Red Sox, the only team sub 500. They are 14 back. In the Central, it looks a lot like it does in the National League. One team above 500. Everyone else struggling to tread water. The Twins, 19 games over. They've got 52 wins. The Royals, 5 games under 500, they're 12 back. Guardians, a little surprising, 10 games under, 14 and a half back. And then the White Sox and Tigers bringing up the cellar in the AL Central. In the West, the Rangers and Astros in a tight race, just separated by a half game. The Rangers slightly ahead at the moment. The Angels, who needs Ohtani? They're 3.5 back in the division. The Mariners, they've been struggling as well, like the Yankees, to stay above 500. They're sitting 2 games over, and they're 4 back in fourth place. So this could be an interesting race. The A's, well, they're the A's. They are far, far behind, 23 games back. Looking at the wild card standings right now, see the Blue Jays would be the cutoff. The Angels are a game back. Mariners and Yankees a game and a half back. Royals 5 back. Red Sox 5.5. Usually I say 6 is where my kind of cutoff is. Still kind of early in the season, so a team like the Guardians could make a push to make things interesting. Going to the National League, the Phillies lead the East. They're 57-27. The Braves 4.5 back, sitting at 52-31. They've been able to make up some ground in the last week and a half. The Marlins sub 500, as is the rest of the division, but they sit in third at 35-49. The Mets and Nats separated by a game, sitting in fourth and fifth, respectively. In the NL Central, we have 52 wins. The Cubs, sitting in second place, 12.5 back on a nice little win streak, though, is following a tough stretch of games. So they're kind of riding high. Milwaukee going the other way after getting swept by the Cubs. The Reds, 38-47. They've got De La Cruz back, so let's see if they can make a push to split a series against us. So maybe they're trending in the right direction. And the Pirates at the bottom of the division, 35-48, but they do have some things to be excited about. In the NL West, the Dodgers, far and away the best team in baseball to this point, 63-22, only team to eclipse 60 wins. D-backs, 52-32. Unfortunately, they're in the wrong division because they're 10.5 back. Padres, 10 games over 500, is at 15.5 back. Giants and Rockies having it rough, sitting in fourth and fifth in the division. And then in the wild card, the Padres would be the cutoff, and there's a huge gap going down to the other team. So at this point, so someone has to get to 500 to make things interesting. Cubs 6 games under, Milwaukee 7 games under, but they're 8.5 games back. So a lot of ground to make up. I don't want to say the playoff picture is clear, but there is a hard line on who could make a push for a wild card. I mean, the Cubs have won 4 in a row, and it's like they haven't even gained any ground. They're just sitting at 8 back. Looking at the June award winners, first we'll start in the American League. Ryan Abreu, your pitcher of the month, 23 games or 23 appearances, a 1.66 ERA, so looking good. Gunnar, we got to see what he could do. Trust me, he left a lasting impression. 312 batting average for the month of June, 16 home runs, 52 runs batted in. And then rookie Nolan, he's been hitting really well. You see, 316, 3 home runs, 12 runs driven in. Looking at the National League, clearly that win-loss is incorrect, but we'll just go elsewhere. Pitcher of the month is Ryan Helsley, and he's kind of struggled in some instances, but hey, he's been solid enough. 2.05 ERA. Olson, we got to see and contribute to him getting Player of the Month. Dude is killing it at the plate right now. And then Yamamoto, your rookie of the month. No surprise there. As the All-Star game gets near, I'm going to look just at the National League right now, see if we have any Cardinals in there. You see Lance Lynn sitting at 9-4, your leading vote getter for pitchers. Kind of a surprise there, but we'll take it. Anyone particularly close? Miles could have been had he not got hurt, but that's okay. As it stands right now, Lynn would be the starter. I don't think I would start him. I don't think it's up to me either, but in terms of voting, he'd be number one. As relief pitchers go, Gallegos and Kittredge have been really good for us this season. You see a sub-1 whip, and their ERAs are both sub 1.5. Second and third, Joe sitting at the top spot there. And then closers, Helsley, of course, he leads the National League in saves, so no surprise that he would be number one. Catcher, Contreras sitting down there. Will Smith, Fresh Prince sitting there in the top spot. Keibert Ruiz sitting number 2. First baseman, definitely Matt Olson. He's going to likely be the MVP this season. See 28 home runs, 77 runs driven in. Freeman, third. Goldie, not even up here. Goldie has struggled. See, batting 216, just 267K in terms of votes. Second base, doesn't really matter. Gorman, maybe if he got more playing time. We got to him a little late, and he still doesn't get full shares against lefties, but still 17 home runs, 39 runs driven in. But Nico and Ozzy likely will be the two there. Third base, Arenado sitting down here. Machado, though, number 1. No surprise, 22 home runs, 64 runs driven in. Riley next, Wisdom. And he hits for power. He strikes out a lot too, but he's looking pretty good. But 2 guys with votes over 500K. Shortstop, easy. Mookie for sure. Turner will be second. Orlando having a great season in terms of batting average, sitting there in the 3rd spot. Left field, Nemo. Ryan Reynolds, kind of a close one there, a gap until you get to Ozuna. Happ hitting well in terms of batting average. He's kind of cooled off though, so likely won't make it. Walker, not enough. For center fielders, Belly, your leading vote getter, having a great season. Lee sitting in second, Duvall right behind him, so that'll be a close spot. Edman farther down, 357K. He will not make it here. That's okay. And then right field, you got Acuna, clearly number 1. Carroll, clearly number 2. And then Stone Garrett, a little bit of a shock there. He's in 3rd. You could have to go down a little ways to get to Newbar. Not his fault. He's batting 315. Just needs the guys in front of him to get on base. If they had, he'd have more runs batted in, probably be sitting a little higher on this list.